we go, guys. Episode 28, so close to 300 obscure, well, sort of obscure toy lines from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and today. This week we kick off with a toy that's controversial, well, sort of controversial. You guys like that? These were lawn darts, or jarts, and they were produced in the early 60s to the mid 70s. They have come back in some softer plastic iterations, but these were the real McCoy, the one from the mid 60s. So these were made out of metal, usually steel, and they were a game where you would toss the dart across the lawn and try and score points in the opponent's hoop. Now, what makes these controversial is a lot of children were injured in 1968 to 72, and there was actually a girl in New Jersey that died because of these. So the father had these petitioned to be banned outright in the United States and Canada, and he was successful for a few decades. Like I mentioned, now there's they look like an inverted umbrella, and they're made out of a plastic tip. That's what's come back lately as lawn darts, but these things, man, they are definitely on the list of obscure and dangerous kids' toys. Leggies by Hasbro, 1972. Leggies were exactly that. They were a leggy toy sold as a fashion doll where you could change their clothing and accessories. Now, despite only being 10 inches tall, they were like 70% legs. Only lasting for 1 year, Leggies saw only 4 different characters with a variety of different clothing and shoe accessories. Their spiritual successors came out in 2007 called High Glam, and they stood 13 inches tall, but with very similar exaggerated proportions. Next up is Bullet Man from 1975 by Hasbro. Now, you'll have to forgive me because this one is a little bit of a cheat, but we've done something similar before in that this is a subset of a famous toy line, because this is from the 70s G.I. Joe line, and this is Bullet Man. Bullet Man was a superpowered G.I. Joe that was meant to breathe life into the, at the time, failing G.I. Joe line in the mid-70s. There was new villains, and they were hoping that Bullet Man, the human bullet, was going to save or at least prolong the life of the toy line. Poochie by Tiger Toys, 2000. Poochie was supposed to be the new space-age toy, and for one Christmas season it was the must-have toy. Children could interact with it, it could bark beep noises, it would sing songs, and after about 10 months they tried to prolong the life of this toy by adding Poochie Pets, where you could get rabbits, cats, and other animals, and they even came out with special Christmas editions, the 101 Dalmatians. This lasted all of 2 years. It was a flash in the pan. Another toy from the infamous obscure toy line. This is Snack Time Cabbage Patch by Mattel, 1996. So this is the toy that came out in the Cabbage Patch line. Most people are aware, and if you're not, I'll give you a quick little information on it. So it was a motorized mouth, battery operated, that would eat the food that came with the Cabbage Patch. It would go into its backpack and you could feed it again. Different sticks of food. Now, they had to discontinue this line, and Mattel was even sued because little girls' hair was getting caught in the Feed Me mouth. So they had to discontinue it because it was dangerous. Another viewer recommendation, this is Battlefield Earth by Trendmasters from 2000. Now, Battlefield Earth is a John Travolta vehicle. I believe he's a Scientologist, and this is part of the Scientology lore. This is a story about how aliens and humans met. I'm not too up to date on it. I believe I saw the movie once when it was on cable, and, you know, in my opinion, the movie sucked. Let's hope that the toys are better. So these are from Trendmasters, and I had to borrow this video clip from another YouTuber, Unminting, because I couldn't find a commercial for it, and I doubt that they actually made it. So it was a short series run, you know, it just was, the figures were based off the actors in the movie. John Travolta's character, Forrest Whitaker and Sam Pepper. There was also deluxe figures that came in this series, and these were 10-inch, you know, you could only move their arms and their legs. There was no joint articulation, and there was also a few space vehicles and something called the Learning Chair. Again, I'm not really familiar with the movie, I can't recall that, but I think that's how Sam Pepper's character got all his knowledge on them. Definitely obscure. Zhu Zhu Pets by Sepia LLC, 2009. So I've seen Zhu Zhu Pets, I still don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, DS games in the dollar store for many years. I just assumed it was a video game. I didn't know it was actually based on a toy line. So basically it was these small motorized hamsters that had two modes. Nurture mode, where you could play with them and they would coo and, you know, like make little noises, or adventure mode, where they would zoom all over your house. So the line was quickly discontinued in 2003 after several series were out. This was like mass produced, this was a must-have buy toy for, you know, 2 or 3 years, and then it just fell into obscurity. So that's gonna do it, guys, for another obscure, well, sort of obscure toy lines from the 80s, 90s, and today. And I'm checking my numbers, guys, we're at about 298 different obscure toy lines. So the next video that comes out, episode 29, we will finally hit 300 obscure toy lines. And thank you so much for watching, guys. It's mostly because of you that I've been able to get this far. So continue to let me know down in the comments some obscure, well, sort of obscure toy lines that you'd like to see in the future. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll catch you later.